there, my name's Jill Tiny. I'm from Collaboration Global, and this is our podcast, Being Human, Hidden Depths. I'm going to be interviewing some of our members from Collaboration Global, and they're going to be sharing with you their extraordinary lives. Although they would probably believe they're just normal, everyday, average humans, but they are extraordinary. A bit like you and me. We all have our story to tell. We've all been through difficult times, and we've come out the other end having learnt an extraordinary amount about ourselves that we can share with others. So I think you'll find lots of things that will resonate with where you've been in your journey as well. I look forward to seeing you on the other side. And we're off, and welcome to Being Human, Hidden Depths with me, Jill Tiny, and my very special guest star. I'm going to take my glasses off so I can see him more clearly. Jonathan Hulton, welcome to Being Human. How are you, Jonathan?
I'm feeling very human today, Jill. Thanks very much. How are you?
I'm good. Pinch myself and I know it's happening. Yeah, definitely. So glad to have you on the call today because we have only known each other relatively recently.
Yeah, we are.
And yet there's kind of tangible magic happening, and instantly we were attracted to each other, thankfully due to an introduction by a wonderful man called Mark Lader.
Yes.
And I thought it would be wonderful to kind of explore that. What happened there? How did that? When did we? Because it feels like, and I know many people have said this to friendships and business partnerships in the past,
Sure.
It feels like I've known you forever.
I know, it really does, doesn't it? It really does. Yeah. You know what? I'll be honest with you. I think sometimes, and you'll get this, sometimes you meet people and you just know that it's either not right, it's right, or it'll be a bit indifferent. But to be honest, sometimes when it is right and it just clicks, it just works. And I think that's how it's been with us and our relationship. And it's just brilliant, and it's just growing, and I'm just really excited about it. So to be here today is a real honor. And I believe I'm the second guest. Is that right?
Oh, indeed, yes.
Oh, goodness me. Couldn't be the first, but at least I'm the second, Jill.
Well, the first one was a very important topic. We were talking about Black Lives Matter. So it kind of hit my heart. And that's why I thought, hang on, let's open it up to slightly wider than the Collaboration Global community.
Amazing.
But I really want to unpack why our connection has happened, because a lot of people rely on intuition and nothing else. And I think there are things that we have to put in place, and we have put in place, whether it's by accident or design, that actually is going to ensure, and I don't know if you realize this, but there is no way our partnership and our relationship going forward is going to fail because of the things that we're going to put into place because of what I have learned through collaboration. So I'll be emboldening you with other relationships as we go along. But let's go back to the beginning.
Yes.
Let's go back to the very beginning. Jonathan Hulton from Bolton.
Yeah. From Bolton, actually from Bolton. Yeah. Okay.
Tell us about you.
Yeah, so I'll go back to the beginning. I mean, I've lived in the northwest of England now for a little while. I moved back here 3 years ago. I was before that a consultant down in the southwest of England, so I lived on the beautiful coastline of Cornwall. I know, and I was a TV exec when I was down there, believe it or not. So I travelled the world and filmed documentaries, and built an agency which has now kind of spiraled into where we are now. Yeah, just had a really exciting life. I've got two great kids, I've got a wonderful partner, and life is just fantastic. But it's amazing the journey that you go on that brings you to where you are. And here I am now, sat in Bolton, in Horwich, actually. It's a bit posher than Bolton. I love Bolton.
Horwich, actually, yeah.
And, exactly, here with you. So yeah, it's all good. Life is an adventure, a journey, and every experience is worth something huge to me. I take value from every experience, the good, the bad, the ugly. I'll always take a bit of experience, and I think it helps you become that really well-rounded person, and hopefully one day that's what I'll become. That's what we all become, because we're all aspiring to do something great, aren't we?
Absolutely. And what I like about you is it looks like you're 12, sort of a very young fit, potentially, just hitting 30, but you've packed so much into your life. Now, I don't want to pry, it's rude to ask a lady her age, but
how old am I? Yeah.
No, it's kind of irrelevant. I was thinking about that this morning. It's just a number. It doesn't matter, but you have packed so much into your life. When you were the 8-year-old Jonathan. Yeah. Did you see any of this? Did you kind of have an ambition? When I grow up, I'm going to be a... Yeah. What was in your heart then, back then?
That's such a good question. I think going right back to the early days. So I was even before that, and Jill, you know, I've told you my story, and when you mentioned Black Lives Matter, I'll just touch onto that a little bit as well, because I think it's topical. It's easy for us media people to jump on topical issues, but this is an issue that's been here for years, for generations and hundreds of years. And believe it or not, I was an NSPCC child. I was taken, unfortunately, my parents were very young when they had me, didn't work out. So I was taken by the NSPCC, and I was brought up in a Jamaican family for the first few years of my life. And, you know, here I am, the white child being brought up by the black family, and they are blood to me, you know, they really are. And, you know, those issues that you highlighted in your first podcast, so important, and please just keep banging on about it. We have to keep the momentum moving on that movement. It's so important. But I think from my experiences as a child, I always had something within me that said, you know, there is something you can do. And statistically speaking, children who are adopted normally have really big, high aspirational levels. It's either the extreme of you accept that you've had a really tough upbringing and you're just going to lie down and just let the world run over you, or you go, to hell with this, I'm actually going to do something amazing. I'm going to impact somebody's life. I'm going to help somebody. I'm going to make the world that I didn't actually have when I was brought into it. And I did have that within me. But to be truthful, I think I always had an aspiration to be a policeman. That was always my aspiration.
Oh, wow.
And I achieved that. That's something I did achieve. And
I know that about you.
You didn't, yeah. So yeah, I know. When I was 20 years of age, I joined the police. I was there for 4 years, but I felt unfulfilled. It wasn't really grasping me. I loved it. I loved helping people, but sometimes, and people watching this may know, that there is something inside of you that says there's more. You know, you can do more. You can make more of a difference. And I decided to take that step, left the police, and move forward into the career that I now have. And it was the best move I ever made. But at the age of 8, you know, under 10, I was just going through these identity issues, trying to figure out who on earth was this Jonathan. You know, who was I? I was born a different name, changed my name at 2 years. I was born a Daniel, and then I became a Jonathan. Right. And it's like, who are you and what are you all about? And I think really it's only now in my mid-30s, there's my age, in my mid-30s, that I'm actually really getting to grips with this and accepting, you know, every facet of who I am. And I'm actually going, do you know what? This is a part of the personal brand, which is me. And everybody listening and watching this should actually go, every experience counts for something. Take something from it and apply it. So in answer to your question, in short, I had an aspiration to be a policeman, achieved that, but there was so much more, and that's where it's led me to today.
I love that, because my journey is from a point of frustration, because I was not in the police force, but I was a teacher, and my frustration came from not being able to do enough. It's like, I can help this person, I can help this person, but I need to help many, many more. And the system would frustrate me as well. I also worked previously in a previous incarnation in local government, and you would go to work every single day having an argument with somebody because you couldn't please all the people all the time. It was either a tenant who wanted to, you know, couldn't pay their rent, or it was somebody, your boss was having a go at you, or the council was having a go at you, or the press were having, and it's like, whoa, because there must be a better way. So I look back and I can join the dots where I've kind of come to this place now where I've worked out the tool for me is collaboration.
Sure.
The culture is a big part of what we do. So pulling people together to make the world a better place sounds very trite and cliche. But ultimately, when you do bring people together, you empower them.
You do.
And by being empowered, then you can, you know, well, what can we do? What's possible?
Exactly.
So that's why I see what you have in the Influencer Academy, which is your current baby, and I'm sure there'll be many, many more going along forward. But your Influencer Academy, for me, gives me an opportunity to enable more and more people to build their personal brand, get their heart on their sleeve and get it out there and tell people about it. So you're kind of a stepping stone for me to help many, many more people to make a difference in the world. And I'm not going to be giving this to people that go, I want to earn loads of money. I'm going to be giving it to people who are saying, I've got this, I need to teach people about this. I want to share about this. I've got this on my heart, and this is what I want to. There you go. Have this, you know, training so you can help it. Do you want to give us a nutshell of how the Influence Academy came about and where it's going to go?
I'd love to. I'd love to. So really, when I left the police and I went into this world of consultancy, so I went into the world of marketing and media consultancy for brands, and I had no formal training. This was all about my understanding of people. And I've always believed that great marketing comes from a great understanding of people. If you know what people think, if you know how they feel, if you know what motivates them, and you can scratch the itch, as I would say, or itch the scratch. I don't know which order you put that in. Have a little think about that one. But if you can find what works, then you can actually sell product. You can make a difference. You can achieve your goals very easily. And there's all sorts of laws of attraction and laws of this and laws of that. It's all around the same principle. Understand people, value people, treat people as people and not projects, and you'll achieve great things. So I went into this world and managed to build a small agency, quite successful, and then took a massive step to go into media. It was a big step up for me to become a media exec. And I learned more about people then, traveling in the world, filmed all these documentaries, did live TV in front of 950 million connected homes at any one given time. Wow. Live, no script, no nothing. There's the deep end, go jump in. And at the end of that journey, I thought, there's something missing here. And people really undervalue themselves. And I've done it for years. I've not looked at my positive attributes. And, so often we focus on our weaknesses and trying to perfect our weaknesses. I suggest that we play to our strengths and that we don't look at our non-strengths. I don't even call them weaknesses. I call them non-strengths.
I like that.
Let's play to our strengths and do something great. So here I was after all of that journey with an agency that I'd built. At one point we had 32 staff, 5 offices in 3 different countries. Wow. And I was so excited about that. But I was finding myself charging great rates. So my day rate at that point, I built to about 5,000 a day, just for my time. But I was here, there, and everywhere. And I realized it was affecting my personal life, in a massive way. I was tired, I was drained, I was snappy, I looked awful, I felt awful. And then I thought, there's more. And there are more people out there who want to access, certain skills, certain bits of training, certain knowledge and insights that you can't really get. You have to find it online, but it's not there. So I took all my knowledge and I put it online, and I just created these programs and these courses where, you'll be on LinkedIn and you'll have been inundated with people going, I'll generate you leads, I'll generate you sales, and you just delete them straight away. But we genuinely built a model that works. And now I'm actually helping people by taking them and journeying with them, mentoring them on a program globally scaled. Now we've got people in LA, we've got people Australia, all over the UK and Europe, and we're just building this thing by the day. But one by one, each person going through that program with me, being mentored by me and my team through video-based, learn in your own time, fully accredited, by the way, training this now. We're enabling those people to achieve their goals. So essentially, it's compacting all of that and all of my experience into one simple place, and people just do it at their leisure. And I just want to help people, Jill. At the end of the day, it's about helping people. Of course, we have to put food on the table, but actually, if we can help one person to make a huge difference in the world, then tick in the box, and I'm happy,
Yeah, I know. I mean, somebody told me off for saying that once. If I could just help one person, they're like, but you don't want to help one person, you want to help millions. Okay, yeah, it's a good point.
One at a time.
Yeah, it's tough one at a time, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So give us an idea. If somebody were to go on this course and say they've been in business for 2-3 years and they've got a brand, but then it's not polished enough, and maybe they've got a bit of a personal brand going, or their business is them, and they're on the one-to-one. If they were to do this course, what kind of things would they anticipate doing, and also what results could they anticipate getting?
So that's a really good question. So essentially, there's a number of things. One of the biggest issues and pain points that I come across with people is they go, I just haven't got the time to do it. Now, listen, if you listen to Elon Musk, if you listen to Richard Branson, Alan Sugar, any of the big hitters, should we say, they will always say you need to invest in yourself. You've got to read. If you can't read, because I'm dyslexic, so I don't read much, but I watch videos. I ingest information. One of our course contributors is a guy called Howard Berg. He's the world's fastest reader. He's a Guinness World Record holder. He's unbelievable. He's so cool. He's such a lovely guy as well. I'm hoping you might be able to do something with him at some point, Jill. He's a wonderful guy. But it's all about learning and retaining information. So what I tried to do is create something that people could learn fast and apply fast. So it's all very practical. I'm a very practical person.
Yeah, me too.
You know, it's not theoretical, get your books out. It's video based, instructional, and there's a bit of motivation in there as well. You know, it's like, come on, you can achieve it. You can do it. Just spend 15 minutes a day. So if you do that 15 minutes a day, I can almost guarantee, I mean, listen, my first year, I did £250,000 in revenue through it. And that's what we brought into the business, 250,000. We're now up to $500,000 a year through it. And that's not me being super special. That's a normal person who tried something and built a methodology. So anybody, I would challenge anybody. Of course, it depends upon your product. If you're selling widgets at 99p, you've got to sell a lot of them. But whoever you want to connect with, whoever you want to build with, if you really want to build a brand that has weight and strength and credibility, not like this one-hit wonder, get your leads today. It's about building a sustainable, credible, long-term brand that enables you to be seen by your peers and your target audience. And they go, wow, I want you to work with me. So it builds your sales pipeline. So I would expect anybody doing this within 12 to 18 months, I want to see them on a 6-figure salary. So that's in their personal bank account. If they're a coach, if they're an individual, if they're a business, it could be far more, because the amount and the scalability of what you can sell could be so much bigger. So I like to challenge people as well, Jill. And I say to them on the program, what sort of model do you work with in your business? So are you doing one-to-one sessions? And if the answer is yes, well, have you considered, what if we scaled you out from doing one-to-one sessions to doing group sessions? So all of a sudden, 10 hours, you know, 10 hours of cost, whatever that may be, let's say it's £10,000 that somebody generates. What if you could do 1,000 people in a month and you do it all online? So it's those questions of how can we push you and change your thinking, and then give you a methodology and a structure around that to scale yourself beyond where you currently are. It's not about making money per se. It's about building your influence, which in turn builds your revenue streams.
And of course, if you take money out of the equation, you know, it's the work-life balance, isn't it? Because if you've built something like that, you've got the choice of whether to step back for a little bit, because your brand will still be there. Your brand will be holding you when you want to come back a week or 2 weeks or a month later.
Exactly. It's about waking up in the morning and just hearing that ping, ping, ping coming through. You turn on your emails. I remember back in 2012, I got a contract with the Football Association for an event at Wembley. It was a private event that I got to ticket. It was my first big break. Wow. I was terrified, you know, absolutely terrified. And I think we sold the best part of, 40-odd thousand tickets in the space of 6 weeks through social media. That's what we built, which was great, and it worked. But the one thing I remember is hearing the ping, ping, ping of the emails, and they were orders. And I looked at the orders and it was like, £35, £35, £35. And actually you think it's not a lot of money. But at the end of the day, when you've had 100 of them or 200 of them, you go, this is interesting. So for me now, and we were saying this before we started the call here today, I've managed to book a couple of holidays this year. I would never, ever have been able to have freed myself up to go away on holiday running my own business as a consultant or a coach. Yeah. But actually, I can go away whenever I want. I can work from the beach. I can work from the Antarctic if you want to go there. You can go.
You're not going to be doing one of those videos that you see on YouTube that comes up going, would you like to work from the beach every day?
Like, you know what? I'm such a cynic with that stuff. I really am. Yeah, I do understand the model. And you can, if you want the freedom, money isn't the prize. Time is the prize.
Yes.
Because you can be the wealthiest person in the graveyard, but actually you want to make sure that you have the time with your partner, your loved one, your kids, your family, your friends.
It's the only unrenewable resource that we have, isn't it? You can't.
Exactly.
Once
we
it's gone,
it's gone. We don't have an infinite amount. We're here we're a blink in the eye, and it's like how quickly we're gone. The world, will they remember your name? I heard that in Troy once, that movie with Brad Pitt that I absolutely loved. How will they remember my name? He said they must remember my name, and actually it's about a legacy. What legacy do you and I leave for those behind us?
That's in my notes, darling. That's the question. One of the questions I ask everybody. It's true, isn't it? It's because people, if you're in your mid-30s, you're not generally thinking about legacy and what you're leaving behind. And then you hit a certain age and you're thinking about, well, what, have I done enough? is there enough? And I think sometimes age is a state of mind. A friend of mine once said that she had a husband that was much older than her, so they both agreed to lock 10 years off their age and act as if they were 10 years younger and make all their planning on that basis. It's just a number. So it's interesting how people's legacy changes as they get older. And some people in their 20s and 30s wouldn't even, what do you mean legacy? What are you talking about? I'm just earning as much money as I can so I can have some nice stuff. So I can, then I can have my nice life. And it's like, well, what about now? What about today? When was the last time? I've worked with clients. One guy, I said, so, okay, why do you want to work with me as a business coach, my day job, apart from Collaboration Global, obviously.
Sure.
And I said, what do you want to achieve from working with me? He said, well, I haven't had a holiday for 8 years.
Wow, let's change that one now.
Exactly.
Wow.
And the reason he didn't like going away is because he said, I'm lying by the pool thinking of all the money I'm not earning, because he was a one-man band and he needed, so within 9 months we had 2 teams for him. They were on 2 projects and he went off to Tenerife and he proposed to his girlfriend. And he said it was the best, it's like his life was allowed to start because he'd given himself that little bit of space by having people around him that he knew, he liked, he trusted, and they were able to do the work that he'd built the reputation, and now he was handing it on to the next person. Yeah. So, and it's the same thing about collaboration, is that you have people around you, and it sounds like you've got an amazing array of people that you've just kind of pulled together. So my question to you now is, how do you choose? What is it in your head and your heart that you kind of go, they're the ones? I mean, how did you choose me? I know we were introduced by Mark.
Yeah, sure.
And I've known Mark a relatively short space of time. I know how I chose you, but I'm just curious to see how what your thoughts were. Not necessarily about me, but how do you choose people in general to go, come on board, come with me?
You know what? It's such a good question, and it's one that you learn through making loads of mistakes, I've found. But I've been burnt. I think everybody's been burnt in business. You make commercial decisions, you make relational decisions, and they either work or they don't work. And you try to put things in place, like you said at the beginning, you put things in place to make sure that you have a great foundation moving forward. But sometimes it doesn't work out. And one of the things that I've learned to get the right people, and I've got a great team in London, in our comms agency, I've got 8 people down in London who are phenomenal people. They're such hardworking, intelligent individuals. One of the great things I've learned is always either hire, partner, or collaborate with people who are better than yourself. Yeah. I want them to be so much better than me. Listen, I know what I do well, but I also know what I don't do well. I know what my non-strengths are. So I play to my strength, which is video, which is people, which is entrepreneurialism. And I know that as long as I've got a team behind me, so my senior team, for example, we've got great investors in our board as well who've financially invested so much into us to help us move forward. I've got an incredible PR journalist who heads up our comms agency down in London. He works with some phenomenal brands, brilliant brands that we work with, the global brands. Unbelievably talented. And then I've got somebody who's a digital specialist as well. And essentially anything that we want to implement, a couple of weeks ago, we had an idea that's now gone into development. We think it's a world first for what it is. It's a fully scalable online business, which will probably be going live within about 8 months' time. We're so excited about it. But the idea dropped into my head after all of the initial deaths of COVID. And it was a horrible, horrible experience to see all these people losing their lives. And you think, what about all the people left behind? What memories do they have of those who've been taken so quickly? So we've actually developed a product to help create memories once you're gone. I can't say more than that at the moment, but it's a really heartfelt, touching product. And I think it's going to make such a difference to so many people. But when that idea came, I looked at it and I went, I know where this needs to go. I know the concept. I know how to generate the revenue, but I don't know how to piece this together. So all of a sudden I'll pull in my specialist, and now we're at the point whereby brief's gone in, I step back and they build it, and then I'll step back in to build the brand when it's ready. So I think, in answer to your question, I think knowing and finding people who are better at doing things than you is a crucial thing. Finding people who align on business ethics and, all of the things that you personally stick to and hold to. If you find people like that, then you're in a really good space. Find people with a great mind who are aspirational, but balanced and grounded, and can make something not just be a pipe dream, that they can earth it. And listen, I could have dreams all day long, me, Jill. I'm a proper visionary. But I need these people to go, feet on the floor, John. This is what we're going to execute on now. This is tomorrow. And I think really, if you or your listeners, your watchers here, your viewers can find people who have the right mindset, who really catch on to what they're all about, and they share the vision, you will do great things.
Yeah, absolutely. It's thinking about it, it happened by accident rather than design, I think, with me, because I initially, when I first started a few years ago, I would be surrounding myself with people like me.
Yeah.
Got the ideas.
There you go.
And got the finish line. Nobody was a finisher. Nobody was ready to go. And we were like, brilliant ideas. Yes. And no one to execute. And it's like, oh, we're going around in circles here. But bit by bit, we've kind of pulled those in by accident rather than design. So now I've got what I call my dream team around me.
There you go.
And they're amazing to, every so often I go, what about that? No, not yet. Okay, I'm going to do that. But it's kind of, so I'm not quite at the point where I can throw things at them and they'll go, yep, we've got that, we'll run with that, but every so often you have the little gem, and it's just taking something and honing it and making it better. And
right.
that's what I like about what you're doing, is helping people to build their brand, because you can't build a brand unless you understand 100% what's inside your brand.
That's right.
What your message is, and what your legacy is going to be. Because to me, it is all about a legacy building now. And for me, I see, and everyone calls me Pollyanna. It's like, oh my God, you're such an optimist. They're like, it's a bad thing. I'm like, but that's somebody has to be an optimist in this world. And I see all the problems. And I'm like, well, proper collaboration, not the doing collaboration, the being collaboration. Yes. The essence of what collaboration is can solve all of these problems.
Yeah, it can.
And people know how to be a good mum or a good dad or a good son or a good friend, but they don't know how to be good at collaboration. Yeah, and that's where I feel that coming together as a community, we have the culture within us of the values being human being first. We don't care what colour you are. We don't care what sex you are, what sexual orientation, tall, short, fat, thin. Don't care. Yeah. You're a human being first, and we want to connect with you at a deeper level. And then we have love as our overarching superpower, because if somebody were to have a go at you about something and you were triggered and you were in that world out there, you'd be like, aggressive. In our world, as somebody says something and you're like, oh, I got triggered by that. So why did they say that? And what's that about? Can you talk to me about that? Because I really got upset by that and I don't understand. So you're exploring everything. There's no right or wrong. And generally people aren't having a go. They're saying, what I heard you say was this. Is that right? Can you explain a bit more? So there isn't the angst and the upset and the gossip and the diatribe that we get in the media. All of those kind of things are not part of our culture. So if you're a human being first, and you have love as a superpower, and collaboration is the tool that you use to enable everybody to do what they want and to build their legacy, then it's like, well, that's ripples on a pond, surely. That's got to be flowing out and out and out. And then we can make an impact on politics or education or the monetary system.
You know what? I completely agree with you. And do you know what? One of the most interesting things that you've just said there is this whole concept of love. And I want to just kind of focus on that for a second, because a lot of people underestimate it, and our understanding of love is something that can be quite difficult. As I mean, people watching this are probably from all over the world, Jill, but here in the UK, we and in America, you have one word for love. But as a trained theologian, because obviously I used to be a vicar, as you know that, and there's a part of the story that nobody actually knows.
We'll come back to that. Go on, make your point.
The point is in the original, the Greek word where love comes from, there are 4 words for love, and they mean 4 different things. And I think a lot of the time we can attribute love to a love of a partner or a love of a child or a love of a friend. But, love is so much bigger than that. And it's actually a real powerful force to reckon with. And as a former minister, which I'm not anymore, they would say that God is love. They would actually put God being he is love. That's the power of love. So I think there is a massive power in love. And I think we underestimate it. And it's not something fancy Nancy and something that we skip around and go, oh, we're all in love with each other. We have challenges to overcome. We'll have disagreements. And, I'll be honest with you, my growing up, I always used to run from conflict, and I always ran from it. And that was really weird because I wanted to be a policeman. And that's all conflict. Every minute of the day is conflict. And violent conflict as well. It's horrendous sometimes. But actually, you learn. And one of the things that my partner, Chloe, she's amazing at this. And she works for local government. And the way to de-escalate people, the way to talk to people, and actually always speak your mind in a way that is respectful, and and you just address the issues straight away. And I've learned so much from her and so much from my career before about just address the issue and do it in a nice way, but address the issue, and then you can actually clear this path and you can plow forward and make some big change. So collaboration is key, but it's not going to be without its bumps in the road. Absolutely. Collaboration is about long-term sustainable relationships which stand the course and test of time. And that's something that I would always advise people to do. Talk, be open, get it out there, and don't be afraid to talk about the issue.
I think you're right. I think most people, a lot of people go, I don't deal well with conflict. Nobody deals well with conflict. Nobody wants to get involved. But at the same time, when you are confronted by it, and I have, in my past life as a housing officer for local government, I've been, very violent people. I've been, somebody's drawn a knife on me and all sorts of things. And when my kids were growing up and they used to have bullies at school and things, I said, okay, you be so nice, their ears will bleed. All right. You be so kind to them. You be so nice, because it disarms people. They can't keep the anger up.
Yes.
When someone's going, I know, I hear what you're saying. Tell me some more. I really didn't mean to upset you. I'm so sorry. How you feel? And it's like, well, they can't. Yeah, and in the end, it's like, well, I'm not angry at you, but I just really feel. And then you get to and then you can find.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that. You're spot on right. And I think eventually when people do calm down, I mean, sometimes people, have this inability to do it for a medical or a chemical imbalance reason, and it can be very difficult. But on the whole, you're absolutely right. People come down to that level and you just talk. It's like, come on, just sit down. And I'm the first person to apologize for things. I always apologize.
I do, yeah.
I'm not apologizing all the time, but it's good. It's nice just to be like that. And, I have a very peaceful life now, and I've got the people around me that we have those conversations. Even this morning, I was on an 8:00 call with my team, and I had some frustrations around some changes that needed to be made to our website, because we've confidentially, can't tell anyone this, Jill, can't tell anyone, but we've just been accepted onto a major platform in the US for Influencer Academy. So it's a massive thing for us. But it's like, all hands to the pump. We've got to make this work, that work, change this, change that. And for me, I'm impatient. It's like, it's got to be done. And you just got to bring yourself down and go, take a breath, chill. You've got the team, the right team, same like mind. They get you. You're working the journey together. You get there. But no, you're spot on right. Collaboration is key and underestimated.
Totally. Oh, I'm glad somebody else hears me. This is what I liked when the very first time we got to speak. And I know Mark was like sitting there going, yeah, I knew you two would get along. Is that you kind of went, okay, fly away, what you're talking about. And everything that came out of your mouth, I'm like, oh my God, he's saying my words. It's like you'd listen to me somewhere else. And you said exactly, has he bugged me? What's going on? And that's where I think our values and, as I say, the human being first, the love and collaboration, it just kind of resonated with us.
Big time. Completely.
So, we've got to have the story about how did you become an ordained minister and when and why. And do you know what? I could see it almost though, because if you went into the police force to do good, that didn't fit right for you. Well, let's go to the other end of them. How else can I do good? So
it's a real funny one. So essentially, I became quite religious at the age of 14. Believe it or not, that's when I had my conversion experience, shall we say?
Born again.
Well, that's what it was, or how I saw it. And I think I went through a huge identity issue growing up. I've already touched on that, and almost finding my identity in a faith. It was something really important to me. You look at people now like Jay Shetty, for example. I don't know if you follow Jay or anybody else does, but Jay used to be a monk, and he found his identity in his religion. And now he's a very, very successful life coach and personality in the media. It's a common thing. And essentially I walked that journey through, and it was, a very cool journey. It taught me a lot of stuff, good, bad, and the ugly. And then obviously went into the police. But when I came out of the police and went into the media, I was still religious. And as a part of that journey, I worked in television for a massive global TV channel that happened to be Christian based. And that took me all over the world. And that was quite an experience. And it was in that process that I actually became an ordained minister. And I did it with all sincerity. I believed it and followed it. I'm not in the same place now, because I think I've just matured through certain bits, and it just isn't as relevant to me anymore. But the principles and a lot of the things that I learned have been really important, and it's helped to ground me. I mean, a lot of biblical principles, believe it or not, the Jewish, the Christian, these are all about business. Jewish community, they're some of the best business people on earth. My business partner is Jewish. He's a member of his synagogue council, and he's Jewish, and he's phenomenal at business. So I think it's very undervalued, but sometimes we can take value from all of these different experiences. And so ordained minister. I could have married you. I could have done funerals and all sorts. I can't anymore. But I could have then. I know. It's just weird, isn't it? Those sorts of stories that help you become the rounded person that you are one day.
And I totally understand that, because I went through a similar experience when my daughter was born, having had no religious background whatsoever, apart from your C of E. What does that mean? Put it on your certificate, your C of E. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Let's be labelled. And when my first daughter was born, I'm like, this is a miracle. I'm amazing. I've just created another life. I've got to thank someone for it. Who do I thank? Who do I go to say, thank you? And obviously it's God. So I said, I want her christened. And my husband, being the clever man that he is, said, well, I'm not being a hypocrite. If you're going to get a christened, we've got to go to church. Do we really? Do we have to? But he made me go to church, and it was good. And the guy that was the vicar there was, Clive Slaughter, all power to you. He's retired now, but he was amazing. And he was a businessman from South Africa, had come over and been ordained. And he was phenomenal, because he didn't stand up and preach at you. He preached with you. I was having an argument with my wife this morning. It's like, whoa, we had his whole life. And now, having come away, because he left, and we moved house, and the next church wasn't as good, and it's not like Clive, and we left for all the wrong reasons, but my faith stayed strong. And God has always put people of faith in my path, ironically. Interesting.
Very interesting.
And it's just, and then after that, I got very heavily into personal development, like you do. You become a business coach, and it all kind of fits in, plus the teaching before that. And you realise that a lot of personal development is all based on religion anyway, not so much religion in the...
I know what you mean. Like
the man-made version, but faith, So whether you're a believer in Muhammad or Yahweh or whoever, God, Jesus, whoever, it's all about understanding who you are, connecting to your spiritual self, and understanding that there are powers out there that are bigger than we are, and we're not alone.
We don't understand it all. We don't get it all. And I think naturally as human beings, we try, and we can be guilty of this control, that we need to know what's going on everywhere at any one given time. We can't. What we need to understand, I think, Jill, is that we're driving our destiny, and there are powers out there. We know that, and we know that there's more going on out there. But ultimately, you've got to make good, grounded decisions based on great principles. A lot of those principles are religiously based, which is really bizarre, but it is. And you've just got to do the best you can with what you've got. And I think a lot of people look for their answers in religion. I certainly did. I found my answers, but that didn't mean it answered all my questions, just a portion of them. And here we are now, and moving forward. But at the age of 35, being a policeman, being a vicar, being a media personality, seen the world all over. Used to fly to Australia for meetings for like 24 hours. Can you believe that? It's crazy.
Wow.
But that's life. And all these things contribute to your journey as an individual in business and life, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, hopefully your thoughts around the environment would have stopped you doing that anyway after a little while.
I tell you, it's crazy, because the amount of air miles, I think one year, I flew around Mars and back twice. I think British Airways air miles were. That's what and absolutely now there's more education around the environment now, and obviously it changes how you view things. So with the world of digital, we don't have to be doing that anymore. And I think as well, I mean, it's a horrible thing to say this, but when you look at what's happened with COVID, it's been a tragedy with all the loss of life. But when you look at how it's affected the environment, it's really caused us to sit up and go, wow, the smog has cleared, quite literally from all the major cities. And what can we now do to create the long-term, the longevity of our planet? It's really helped us hit the reset button, I think.
I love it. I like, somebody said it's Mother Nature sending us to our rooms and telling us to think about what we've done.
I would agree. I would agree. And it's even like in business. You look at all these businesses down in London or Manchester, where I am, and Birmingham, all these big businesses with hundreds and hundreds of staff in their offices, you don't actually need them all there. You know, you can work from home, you can save money, you can stop people traveling into work every day. And in turn, it creates a greater quality of life for them because they get to work from home. Some people like that, some people don't. But it does have an impact in so many different ways. So I firmly believe that in the long term, this will work for the good of something. I mean, it's terrible, the loss of life. And you know, deeper sympathy to everybody who's lost somebody. And I think we all know somebody who knows somebody who's gone. But especially up here where I am, it's terrible. It's rife here at the moment. But you think about it and you go, long term, there's got to be something good. We have to find a way to turn this around and make something positive from it. We have to. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what was your experience? Have you been locked down with your wife and just the two of you, or? Yeah, so my partner and I, we've been in lockdown for, we were 3-4 months, but she continued to work because she's at the civil servant local government. So she's been going in. Wow. Whereas for me, I work from home anyway. And, I do my videos from home. I'm based here. This is my world. I don't travel much now at all anyway. So it's not been too bad, really. But we've created lots of product while we've been in lockdown, and business has actually grown for us. We've noticed that a big transition online, and obviously because our stuff, our material's all online, people can go online and get it, and it's just there. It's a scalable model that is, designed for an ever-changing world. And so for us, it's been absolutely fine. Yeah, we've actually, myself and Chloe, we've actually got closer. Lockdown was designed to pull people apart and keep us separated, but actually for us, it brought us really close together. We had a great, as a relationship, we've grown, and same in business, have grown in the business relationships as well. So it's kind of worked holistically really, really well, ironically enough. Who would have thought? Exactly. Who would have thought? It is interesting how, if there were cracks in a relationship before, then this would have made everything worse. And me and my husband are the same. It's very much whenever it's just us and there's no outside world, we get on like a house on fire. As soon as other people come in, it's like, oh, did you say that? Did you do? And that's when it kind of gets different. But after sort of 36 years, you kind of get used to each other. So we've had a lovely time. And he's been going backwards and forwards because he had to pivot his business from selling stationery to schools, and they all shut down, to selling PPE stuff. But that's the benefit of knowing good suppliers over 30 years of business. Diversification. I would love to see how history is going to paint this, because what I liked is at the beginning, everyone was coming together and it was natural collaboration, and we all had the greater need and we all put others first. And now we're coming out of it. It's like, it's blame here, blame there, fingers pointing, and you're not wearing a mask, and you don't have to wear a mask, and why should you? And it's like, oh, stop it. Just remember what it was like when you were pulling together. And I think the media, unfortunately, just stir the pot. And, there's just no need for it. But it is what it is. And I guess we just have to take control of our environments, make them as best we can, and just contribute to society in the best possible way with the most integrity that we possibly can do, really. Don't know if there's anything more we could do. Oh, exactly. I mean, I think bringing people into the fold of Collaboration Global, it's very hard for people to be cynical in that space when you kind of, let's be positive, let's help each other, and how can I help you? That's the question that people come up with all the time. Is what can I do? How can I help? And also what I like is when people are sort of jogging along and having a whinge about it, and you go, okay, can I challenge you? What have you done recently? And you're allowed to kind of, with a love, give them that little bit of tough love to push them forward. So moving forward then, you've got a lovely life by the sounds of things. You've got it made, What else do you possibly need? Maybe a puppy, I don't know. What else do you possibly... But what's your ambition now? Where do you go from here? Do you know what? It's such a good question. So I think really where I'm at now personally, I look at commercially, and have I achieved what I wanted to achieve to date? Yes, I'm happy with what I've achieved. I think as an entrepreneur, you always try to say that you've achieved it all, but actually you never do, because there's always another thing, another idea. So, but what I've tried to do is focus and pull together maybe 4 or 5 of my projects to go, these are where I'm investing my time, making sure that my time is proportionate, is balanced. People can access my diary between these hours. That's it. Not going to compromise on the nighttime working or the weekend working anymore. Been there, done it. Not going to do it. So I think for me now, it's all about building the Influencer Academy to get get people on board. I want 1,000 people this year onto the academy through my program to help them achieve their goals. This is about the legacy for me now. It's about investing in them and seeing them achieve great things, seeing them on social, being heightened as this personal brand, as their company brand, seeing them flourish with activity and generating the inquiries that they want so that they can go and do the same for someone else like I'm doing for them. So I really want to scale this globally, and we're in a really good place right now. It's not exactly where I want it to be because it never will be, but we are exactly where we should be. We're ahead of the curve. And then we've got 3 or 4 other projects coming off the back of this as well, which is going to be really exciting. So for me, it's about just continuing the growth of that business, investing time, effort, and energy over the next year to see us reach that 1,000 people, generating them the interest and the engagement that they want, and then we'll be on to the next thing. But on a personal note, I think it's all about being happy. And actually, for years and years in my life, I really wasn't fulfilled and happy until, sort of like last year, really, I found my happiness. And now that I've found my happiness, I don't want to let it go. Yeah. And the advice I would share with anybody, regardless of your age, is, do you know what? Don't lose track of the fact that happiness, people, and time are the most important pieces of currency. They are currency in life. That's all you've got to spend. That's all you've got with you when you go to your grave is the memories and the legacy that you leave with those who love you and those who you care about. It's not about money. Money's important, but it's not most important. People are. And I think if you can hold fast to that, which I am doing, you won't go wrong. I'd sooner be in a cardboard box and happy than have my lovely homes and everything else. I'd rather have that. But thankfully I am happy. So let's keep going. And
I mean, it's worse if you've got all the money and you're not happy. It's just like, what's the point? Exactly. Be in a cardboard box and be happy. So
many people like that though, and the more I come across it, some of the wealthiest people that I've come across and worked with are some of the most miserable. The relationships at home are miserable, and it's like, guys, seriously, get a grip. Get a grip. It's not worth it. It's really not worth it.
Wealth comes in many different packages, and money isn't one that. When I was a kid, we weren't very well off. That's an understatement. We didn't have central heating. We didn't have a bathroom. We had an outside toilet, and we didn't even have hot water. But we were wealthy because we had love. My dad never gave us the illusion that there wasn't enough money to go around. It's like, we'll find a way. We'll find a way. It was so, and I didn't even realize until I was older. And I would look back and go, well, we had meat on a Sunday and we'd have leftovers on a Monday, but we probably didn't, maybe sausages if we were lucky on a Thursday, but it was a vegetarian diet basically. And my dad was a docker, so sometimes he was in work and a lot of the time he wasn't in work. And there was no handouts or anything. It was tough, but never did I feel poor in any way, shape or form. And it wasn't until I got to school and people were talking about going abroad for their holidays. And I'm like, you have a holiday? So, it was... So you kind of then realise that there's other things out there and other things to compare yourself to.
I agree with you.
You never come off feeling good when you compare yourself to others. So just look around you and be grateful for the love that you've got in your life. And if you've got love, you've got wealth.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Wise words.
Thank you. I was just thinking when you were talking about being happy in your representation and going back to Influence Academy, how cool would it be for you if you had like a little kite mark of that every person that went through the academy had a little IA logo on their brand, so every time you saw someone's brand you go, they're one of mine, they're one of mine.
I'd love that. It would. And I think the reality is probably wouldn't happen, but I would love to see it. Who knows, that big stamp of approval to say, we've been through accreditation and all that. It would just be great. And I think ultimately though, it comes down to what happens. We won't know what happens beyond the grave, so to speak, but I would love just to look down one day and go, all these people are fulfilled and have achieved their dreams, and maybe we can play a small part of that journey, and that would just be great for us. I'd be so happy to know that one day.
Well, maybe if they come through the Influence Academy, then they like the idea of Collaboration Global, and we just look after them in the community afterwards.
Well, that's what it's about, isn't it? It's
cool.
Not about, you pick somebody up and then, you have a transactional relationship and it's goodbye. Relationship should never be, in my eyes, transactional. No. It's for the long term. So, come and transact, great, but actually we're invested in you and anybody who comes through my programs, we're invested in you. It's the same with Collaboration Global. You're invested in them, and it's important for people to understand the value that they have. And if we can show them how valued they are, then I think that's a winner. Yeah,
absolutely. That's almost a stopping point, but let me just check. I have to go through my little notes here because I've been so interested in the conversation. I've not actually been looking at. Okay. Oh, we've more or less covered it. That's good, isn't it? We're good at this.
Straight through it. I love it.
Yeah, fantastic. So we've talked about your ambition going forward. We've talked about your legacy that you're leaving. We've talked about, I mean, before we kind of got going, were you aware of your natural ability to collaborate? I mean, I know you've spoken about how you choose people that you see as better than you to come and support you and help you. Was this kind of an awareness of you, like I'm good at, I mean, because what I found so far, this background behind my question, is that people come and we talk about collaboration, they're like, yeah, of course collaborate. Why wouldn't you? It's obvious. And other people are like, oh no, I did that once, I got stung, I lost some money, I'm not going to do that again. And it's this fear and competition versus mindset of abundance. So have you always had an abundant mindset? So you've gone, yeah, obviously, let's bring people together. Were you the person at school that used to create all the parties and things, or have you kind of had to learn how to come out the other end?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think, to be truthful, my natural self is about let's all work together and let's all be friends. It's quite an idealistic kind of
Not
attitude.
just me then.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up like that, and I think there's a degree of innocence with that. And unfortunately, because I didn't put things in place to protect myself a little bit in life, I got burnt, and people do sometimes take advantage, sadly, and it didn't work out all the time. But I think now I've come full circle on it, and collaboration to me, of course, it feels natural to work together with people, and I also want everybody to benefit from that relationship. There has to be something we learn from each other on the journey. So the answer is I've always had a natural inclination to bring people together and to work together. And I'll always entrepreneurially try and find a way to make sure that it works for everyone. But again, for me, it's about making sure that there is a really solid group of people that you get on with, that you align with, that you've got, a great business mindset together and a great personal relationship together. And from there, you can change the world. You can change anything with the right team, the right people, and the right drive. And I've always believed that, and I'll hold to that to my dying day. I think it's really important.
Absolutely. And do you know what? You have fun along the way, because if you've got all those things in place, it's a dream. You just have such fun. And
totally agree.
What's life if not to have fun? And as you say, be happy. Thank you, Jonathan. I'm going to leave it there, although I do feel there's so much more we could talk about.
I know, we'll do it again sometime. But
yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being our guest today. If people want to get hold of you, what's the easiest way for them to get hold of you?
Well, Jill, if they want to get hold of us, they can go to the Influencer Academy website, which is theinfluenceracad.com. So they can go check it out there. They can find me on LinkedIn, or they can find us on Instagram or Facebook, or they can just contact you, because you know all about us as well, and you can send them to that website if they want to know more. We do sort of webinars all the time. We give away lots of freebies and lots of bits of help and advice. But honestly, if you sat there watching this and you want to accelerate beyond where you are now, this is a great way to do it. And there's lots of little free programs I can put people on as well, Jill, to kind of give them a little taste of what they can achieve. That's important. It's not just about go and transact. Go and try it first, see how you get on, and then take that next step up. So you can find me through all those different ways and means. But Jill, honestly, from me, I've just got to say it. Thank you so much. Thank you for the work you do, and please keep it up, because it does make a difference, and it means a lot to me. We're in a great partnership together. So
thank you. I'm loving it. I'm having a great time. I can't wait till we can actually get to see each other. And
I know.
I feel like we've already had a hug, but I need to have a hug, and I need to meet your other half. To carry on the business relationship into a proper friendship.
I agree.
So thank you for coming. If you've enjoyed this podcast, there are more available in all the basic places you can find your podcast. But also, if you fancy coming to meet some of our community, you are more than welcome. We have a meeting on the last Tuesday of the month. You can find us on Eventbrite and all through the website collaborationglobal.org. We'd love to have you to come along and meet, and maybe you'll meet Jonathan there as well one day. Thanks very much for coming. Really appreciate it. Take care.